All right, welcome back for our last match of the week here for week 4, Planechase League. We got two of our league veterans, Jeremy here, who I'm going to be following, playing against Ryan D, the Slickness, and Justin's going to be looking at his hand here. So these are two guys that they always step up to play feature matches. They're always in the thick of it in contention. And Jeremy's gone with one of the underutilized strategies this week, which is playing planes. I have not seen a lot of those this week at all. And what's Ryan's deck looking like here?
He has chosen the black.
Yeah, black and green have seemed to be the most common ones.
Black,
Uh,
green, blue. I've seen a bit of red.
yeah, red and white are definitely at the bottom here. White, particularly, I don't think I've seen anybody playing white. Uh,
I think it
but
has something to do with that, like, white, like, has decent creatures, but just doesn't feel like it has good late game or it doesn't have any really efficient removal.
yeah, white's
Or yeah,
removal is very hit or miss depending on the set. Until the last couple of years, the offered little to no card advantage. They've rectified that, but the creatures are smaller in general. Yeah, just not the color you want to be your base in this league. But unless you have some really really good uncommons or rares, you're probably giving up power level by playing white over some of the other colors. But it's Jeremy makes it work. I mean, he's 1-2 this week, but his overall record is 12-6, so he's always in contention here. So interesting.
I,
We
I,
see this learn card that's going to pick up start from scratch, which can pick off this little anointed chorister, which for a little unassuming looking one drop, that card actually is quite a threat in the late game.
yeah, but yeah, I was saying, like, because he's playing white, I'm just like, what card? He must have some very powerful cards to lure him to white.
Yeah, we'll
Like,
see
I don't know if
inside
he
the
has them in
lane.
his hand right now, but I'm a bit scared because white is not necessarily like the best, like as you said, like the premium color for this sort of format. And just seeing someone play it means that like it must be by far and away better than your other colors.
Yeah, so he's definitely
And
dipping into other colors here based on his hand. Um, yeah, Ryan opted to play the Skin Witch there unkicked, which he doesn't really block, and could have just taken the opportunity to pick off the anointed chorister here. He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose both his creatures here because Jeremy has to take up the shield. Yeah, so the rest of his hand, he has a plains. He has a Windscarred Crag, which makes red. He has a synchronized spellcraft, which is one of those. I think it's a 4 damage
yeah,
spell, not even a red card. He has Lonesome Unicorn, which is the adventure, and most interestingly, Ariel, Knight of Windgrace, but does not have a black source, and presumably probably doesn't have too many ways to go get it, since most of the things that can go get lands that aren't green are only ever getting basics. So he's gonna have to draw that naturally.
yeah. In this format, it's really just like you have to. It's always just draw it naturally, unless you have a very specific card that lets you find a land.
Yeah.
Like I guess Florifer's Vine Wall comes to mind. I guess.
Yeah, Golos as well. I know somebody in our league has Golos and the World Tree, which they can go get with Golos.
I mean that it's the
So
best way to get fixing.
I've heard stories that well, it also just makes your Golos work the way you want it to. Yeah,
Sure.
so yeah, Jeremy's drawn an out. I believe it's called outflank this turn. Yeah, he's just gonna play his the first half of the Lonesome Unicorn here, the 2/2. So
Okay.
what's
Well,
Ryan looking at here?
Ryan didn't have any creatures, but he just drew Drana, the last Blood Chief.
Okay, well that's a thing that once once Jeremy has a fifth land, he'll be able to dispose of. But
Has he drawn that fifth land?
it's a tapped one. It's a Silver Quill Campus, which will turn on his removal next turn, but also, uh, more importantly for potentially later in the game, allow his Ariel to be in play. Yeah, so
So what is
he's
this?
just gonna offer the 2-for-1 here with the outflank.
So what does Drana read? Whenever it hits the opponent, you can reanimate a creature essentially.
No, it's whenever it attacks.
Oh, okay, so you can just get a free Anointed Chorister they can't use, but
uh,
getting a free 1/1 is never bad.
oh, it's you get a non-legendary creature from your own graveyard.
Oh, from our okay, so you get like a Calgo skin, which is the only
Yeah.
thing.
So you
But
get it
yeah,
comes in
it's
with a
still quite
+1
good.
counter and it's a vampire. So there's that. So there's
But yeah,
a
I don't.
yeah.
I don't see any reason for because Ryan actually has quite a good amount of cards in hand. He has Bone Crusher Giant, which he's gonna
Okay,
stomp on someone,
that's a nice one.
and his other cards are Demonic Embrace and Demonic Gifts.
All right, so he's chilling out with the demons here, I guess.
Yes, and then he also has a Witch's Cottage. So if he holds it in his hand, he can bring back Drano when it eventually dies next turn.
Yeah, it is going to die here. Jerry cannot afford to. I mean, even though there's no other creatures in the graveyard, I believe it's still a 4/4 flyer. So,
Oh,
but
he plays out his Witch's Cottage just
ah,
to not miss a land drop.
interesting there. I mean, John is so valuable that might have been worth holding on there, but maybe he has some 6 drops or something. He's looking to play.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
I
Yeah.
personally would have loved keeping the demonic gifts just to protect Jana potentially.
So here comes the attack, looking to happy to trade off here.
Yeah, get your little 2 for 1 with Bone Crusher Giant. You killed off. Well, not I guess 1.5 for 1 because you
Though
kill off half the
of
card.
note, I do believe that Rafine's informant is a wizard, so he could have got a little 1 damage to the face there.
I
If
think
he
he
cast the
noticed.
spellcraft, yeah, he oops there. Yeah, I do believe it's a wizard, which usually you don't have a white wizard, but it is a wizard, and he would have got a little 1 damage to the face with the spellcraft there. It has the added text of dealing damage equal to the amount of party members you have, or for each party member, you deal a damage to the opponent. So
Okay.
now this this skin witch is
This
a
Calgo
5/5
Skin Witch is
flying,
very big.
and Jeremy doesn't have any removal aside from outflank, which doesn't do it. It deal that one deals damage to attacking or blocking equal to the number of creatures you control. So he's not going to be getting up to 5 anytime soon. This
Yeah, it
five
was
five
like
is
very
going to have
slow
free reign
removal.
here for the next couple turns. This might be what ends the game.
The Calgo.
Ryan's giving Ariel a read there, seeing what all it does. It has a lot of text on it.
Yeah, but Calgo Skin Witch I believe now is a demon vampire human wizard.
Oh, well, that's completely normal. Okay,
Yeah, I guess it is. It's a human, a demon, and a vampire.
it's just a couple steps away from becoming a changeling.
Yeah, this Magda is backed up by an enthusiastic study in demonic gifts.
But
So
if it were a dwarf, it would have gotten an extra a
it's true.
treasure there. But
Yeah, unfortunately,
unfortunately,
doesn't make it's not a changeling.
it's too busy being all the other things it apparently is now. Yeah, so this combat trick's gonna be nice here. Unfortunately, he was tapped out of his outflank, which if he had access to his outflank, that would have been a nice little 2/1 here that could maybe gain him some momentum. But as it stands, Ryan's going to
Yeah, just
deal a lot of damage here, 7, and get to learn. So what's he looking at there? Any high value lessons?
well, besides the 4 that were given, because of the Strixhaven plane, he also has Spirit Summoning and Inkling Summoning.
Okay.
Uh, I personally would like to see him going just for the expanded anatomy. I believe it can just be lethal. Because he could put on his Calgo Skin Witch and he has demonic gifts to finish your opponent off.
Yeah,
But this,
he's just going to go for annihilation here. Uh,
yeah,
Ariel
safer.
maybe looks scary. The demonic embrace can win the game eventually on its own. Oh, here's a rise to Extus. So
Oh, that's a really strong one.
that's a timely draw there. Though the demonic embrace will still be available, right?
Yeah, I believe you can discard a card and pay 3 life to be able to cast it this turn.
Yeah, it's different from the red one from I believe it was in Bro, right?
Yeah, the
The Draconic
Draconic
Destiny,
Destiny.
where once when the creature died, the aura went back to your hand. So if you did exile the creature, it got around it. So now he is able to get this off the board, but it is there if Ryan wants to cast again. But he's at 7 now, so might be tough to find a spot for it here.
Now he's put in a position where he actually can't demonic embrace this turn. It's actually I believe he can because Magda will create a treasure, so he'll still be able to introduction to annihilation the Ariel
And so Jeremy's
after
got quite a
demonic
few
embrace.
lessons here. Well, he's got a pest summoning, an elemental summoning, and a necrotic fumes on top of the ones we got fronted. So it
Necrotic Fumes to sack to
looks like
kill.
looks like he's thinking about the expanded anatomy, but uh, I don't think that would be wise in the face of an open removal. See what he
Yeah.
decides here.
I believe Ariel is 3 and tap to activate to make a 2/2.
Yes, you make a 2/2 knight, and
Specifically a
then
2 in white.
you could potentially kill other things later after you have a few knights.
Yeah, it was always very slow on its own, but like if you had a built-in knight deck when you sometimes did in Dominaria, you could sometimes just
Yeah, so Intro to
get everyone.
Annihilation is going to be the pick here because that can actually exile the aura if he needs it, if he needs to.
Okay, well,
Because that
he's
hits
drawn
any
Skull
icon.
Raid if he doesn't like what's in
Okay.
Jeremy's hand, and it seems like if he Skull Raid, okay, he's gonna cast the Demonic Embrace.
Okay.
Uh, I think he might. I think he might discard the Skull Raid as opposed to
Okay. Yeah, because
using it.
the Intro to Annihilation does get rid of the aura. He can it does hit non-land permanent. So interesting to see how Ryan goes this turn here, since he does have a couple of lines he could take.
I wonder if he's thinking he could like Demonic Embrace and then just Skull Raid the opponent's last 2 cards, and they could just trade off Magda with Ariel if he attacks.
Yeah. Also of note, it seems like Ryan has gone for very heavy into red deck here with like Magda, Enthusiastic Study. Like these are cards that, again, you wouldn't necessarily think of splashing. They're more just cards you would play when you were very much both colors. All right, so he has gone for the Skull Raid here. It's sort of like a sure thing. So he's gonna let this Ariel go on for one more turn. So let's see if
If
he
he casts
wants
the
to.
Demonic Embrace,
Yeah,
he dies to removal
yeah,
because he'll go to 4.
yeah. Jeremy doesn't have any. He's drawn a land. He has the he can so he can either make a 2/2 or cast a 3/3. So we'll see what he decides here.
Well, he could attack because Ariel does have Vigilance, but he's just gonna be
Yeah,
walking into a Demonic Gifts gifted Magda.
yeah. So this is going to be a nice little exchange here for Ryan. Yeah, demonic gifts.
Really embracing the very demonic cards in his deck.
I mean, when you're playing only swamps as your only basic land, you have to embrace the demons. Right.
It would
So
only be more flavorful if he got Omnixless at some point, but so what
so
is Jeremy thinking of?
well, I think he's just deciding whether he wants to make a 2/2 or a 3/3 this turn, but I would imagine he would just want to make a 3/3.
Yeah, I think the more power is relevant here, just because like he knows that opponent can just play Demonic Embrace on Magda and hit him and kill him in 2 shots.
Yeah. So despite the fact that Ariel is riding a cat of some kind, it cannot get a counter from the animal sanctuary.
Okay, this size wants all the value.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so next turn you could play the unicorn, which is not one of the creature types listed on the animal sanctuary.
Oof, the rares just keep coming from Ryan. He has
All
a
right.
Knight of the Ebon Legion lined up.
And Knight of the Ebon Legion, that's something to put a bunch of mana into that you can never really block.
What it's like you could put the Demonic Embrace, discard his Intro to Annihilation on Magda, and then just play Knight of the Ebon Legion after combat, and it would in return it would become a 2/3 because you dealt 4 more damage.
Yeah, I do think there is a lot of risk in discarding your only removal spell, especially when this is he does have a bit of the upper hand here with the demonic embrace, but yeah, I guess he's not afraid of anything that Jeremy's going to draw here.
Well, it's like you have a 2/3 here that can also become a 5/6 just because you could activate its ability with all that excess treasure. And
Yeah, so
like
now there's going to be
Jeremy
too
would need
many of
like
those
two
ones.
cards to Jeremy would need like 2 cards to kill him. He's like a removal and a pump spell
Right, so
essentially.
he's got a deadly alliance drawn. It's going to cost the full 5. So he is going to have to kill the Magda like during combat or like
And then it would have to chump. the
before.
knight.
Yeah, he could kill it before it's declared as an attacker, so not to get a treasure, but he has to kill it then, or else Ryan just gets to put it on his other creature main phase. So yeah, Jeremy's got one play here, and it's to Deadly Alliance the Magda, uh, you know, during or before attackers. So don't know what all he's exactly thinking about because that's his only it's his only path to staying alive. But maybe he's thinking of doing something else. But on
Yeah.
board, there's only one option.
Even the bluff attack doesn't work because your opponent's at 4 and like obviously they don't want to die to pump spells, so they would block anyways in the situation.
Oh yeah,
So it's like even if you want to get him down to the below 3 point threshold, so he can't cast a mocking gifts, like it's not gonna happen.
yep. So Ryan, I mean, he's just gonna attack both, and the Magda's gonna die, but Jeremy's gonna lose his 2/2 here. Surprised he let him get to the to make a treasure. I don't know if it'll change much, but he could have done it, I
Yeah,
believe, at the beginning of combat before the attackers are declared.
maybe it would change things. Like maybe the knight wouldn't have attacked in fear of like a random haste creature due to that Windscarred Crag. But
Yeah, but
maybe Jeremy has a haste creature in his deck.
it could be. We haven't seen all. We have seen, I think, one red card. So he's drawn a Castle Embereth, which ain't it. So if Ryan casts a Demonic Embrace, he's dead on board, and Jeremy's just going to play the land to show that he's free to suit up his vampire here, go to the air, and move on to the next game.
Yep. Like Castle Number signals to me that Jeremy must be playing red because you need like 2 other red sources to activate it.
Well, a lot of the time it could just be like a tapped mountain, really, right?
Yeah, but
Like
but
just as
obviously
a
he's
way
not
to
going to play it
get.
just for the effect.
Well, it's just as a way to get another red source for your other red cards. Yeah, he has some removals here as his red cards. His red cards are just removals,
Okay.
and Deadly Alliance and Ariel are his only mono black card, or his only black cards. He has a couple of hybrid cards. We saw Rise of Extus and is a Silver Quill Pledge Mage, but yeah, so it's a white deck. He has a Depopulate, notably, as well as I believe it's a Swords to Plowshares actually. So pretty good.
Oh. Okay, so we actually saw all of Ryan's red cards.
Oh,
Well, you didn't see it, but he drew the last red card.
okay.
He's splashing for Magda, Lightning Strike, Enthusiastic Study, and Bone Crusher Giant.
Yeah, see, a couple of those are sort of weird splashes, kind of, but
And
yeah.
he
So
has
so
5 red sources.
so Jeremy has like actually a few burn spells he's not playing. I think he's just gone for the ones that are going to be the most efficient for him. So he has Scorching
Yeah.
Dragonfire, Soul Sear, Synchronized Spellcraft, and I
Okay.
saw he had like a Wizard's Lightning that he is not playing. I guess just figured the mana to damage ratio wasn't exactly where he wanted it to be for a splash. But
Yeah, maybe he doesn't have enough wizards to make it 1
yeah,
mana.
like he has a Trial of Zeal as well that he's not playing. Um, I'm surprised that he's playing the Synchronized Spellcraft over something like Fiery Intervention, which is 5 damage or destroy an artifact, rather than 4 damage instant speed. But
I figure
he's the
he
one
like
with all the
wizards.
top eights, so he knows what he's doing.
I think it just might be the flexibility of instant speed.
Yeah,
It's basically when you have a lot of instants in your deck, the more you have, the more unpredictable you can be.
yeah.
So
He's cited in a Forsake the Worldly, which exiles an artifact or enchantment and also cycles. So
exactly for that demonic gifts, not embrace.
yeah, the
Demonic
Demonic Embrace.
embrace.
It's a very difficult card to deal with because I mean, I guess the cleanest answer that white is going to have most of the time is like a pacifism on the creature.
Yep.
But short of that, the card's just going to dominate a game if you can't get rid of it, and it's not easy to get rid of because it comes back from the graveyard. So noting that, he said, let's try and exile it if it shows its face again.
Yeah, Ryan just put in more removal. He had two whacks he wasn't playing and decided that like, wow, this card's amazing against him. It's 1 mana -4/-4.
I mean, whack is just a good card in general, but
Yeah.
if you are rife with removal, I guess whack can eventually hit the sideboard. You must be blessed with
Also,
much removal.
something really nice that I saw is that he has the God Pharaoh's gift and the Gate to the Afterlife in his deck.
Yes, I saw. Yes, I saw him playing earlier in the league, and that actually came up, and much to the opponent's dismay, that in his one pack of Amon kit, he actually managed to find both of those. And the gate is, usually when you see the gate, the Godfather's gift follows because the gate is not that great on its own. But yeah,
Like
so
3 mana, you can loot, I believe.
unfortunately for Jeremy, he doesn't have a third land to start deploying his flyers. Or he has a couple flyers. He has Aster Glider, Aven Mind Sensor. He has a Silver Quill Pledge Mage, which can gain flying. Ariel is in hand. Scorching Dragonfire, Moment of Heroism. And he's drawn
Oh,
a pretty much like a tapped colorless land that scries. He has nothing to do with green or blue mana, but it scries. So he put a spell on the
yes.
bottom. He just wants lands, particularly something that makes black at some point.
Well,
But
here he is again in his all his glory, the Caligo Skin Witch.
yeah, I mean, whenever you played it as a 1/3, you were a bit sad, but it was probably right most of the time if, to stop getting attacked. But
Yeah, just sometimes you need to play a 2 mana 1/3,
yeah, you
and
really wanted to get your value. But,
oftentimes it's exactly what you want.
right, so he's got his black source here. Again, like this
Okay.
contaminated aquifer, it's kind of just a tap swamp in his deck.
Yeah.
But you got to do what you got to do to play your spells.
Oh, so by
So
the
he's deciding between which of his three drops he wants to play. Most certainly, it will be one of the flyers. So it looks like it's going
that's
to be
right.
Mind Sensor since he's passing turn.
Remember last game how he said Caligo Skin Witch was not a changeling?
Is it now going to become a changeling?
Well, he does have a Masquerade Nexus in his hand.
Okay. Oh,
So,
here's a man I like this guy. Sort of a weird spot for it. Usually you want to be pushing a bit more damage, but this is still a 4/4 that's going to be bigger than what Jeremy has. Interesting, he's choosing to Dragonfire this rather than take two. Interesting, he didn't just play Mind Sensor here and take the two and figure out what he wants to do after that.
I mean,
Huh.
there is, I guess some value in like I don't want him to potentially just bring back the Skin Witch to his hand.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I was sure he was going to play Mind Sensor there, but now he's just trying to figure out what he wants to do. If he plays, if he wants to play Ariel, what's Ryan holding over there?
Ryan's holding Zoth Consumption, a Village Rites, Masquerade Nexus, and Drana, the Last Blood Chief.
Oh, okay, Drana's a nice one. Yeah,
And has drawn a willing ingredient.
yeah. So Jeremy does not have any removal here. He has a bunch of creatures here: Easter Glider, Haven Mind Sensor, Silver Quill Pledge Mage, Moment of Heroism. So you know, Ryan is he can his Drana will be able to attack. He has no creatures in the graveyard to get back right now, but he'll be able to
Yeah.
attack. So Jeremy's drawn a quick draw dagger for the turn, which not that useful. He has a Moment of Heroism already in hand as like something to win combat. I think he's just looking
But
for some removals here.
he will get rid of this 4/4 because he will try to win combat and then he will force Ryan to sack it to Village Rites.
Yeah,
I
I
think if
mean,
you're I think if you're Ryan here, you're still fine with the trade. You just you got something out of him and you also just get to draw 2 cards. Oh, I
yeah,
guess because you use Mod Arrows him, you deny 6 life.
yeah. He doesn't even get the lifelink boost here.
I also like the fact that he's drawing cards because he doesn't have an answer to Ariel currently, and Ariel will, take over the game if unchecked.
I mean, I mean, Ariel is good, but we are seeing some of the weakness of white, right? Just like the interaction is lacking, and even like the creatures are like they're just small. They're just smaller in general. Like there's not a lot of
Oh,
4 power creatures running around in white at like any rarity.
Oh, I love what's going on here. The Masculine Nexus makes it so every creature you control is since every creature you control is a changeling, the Smitten Sword Master will be hitting for the amount of creatures you control.
Okay, that's not as that's not as funky as what John P can do with his Risen Reef, but it's a nice little interaction.
So whack, not good enough because Dario, who has a sword in hand, was also holding a dagger.
Apparently, Ariel on a gigantic panther with a huge sword can get whacked, but apparently, if she's hiding a little dagger, she's unwhackable now.
Yeah, she's too strong. She has a dagger,
Apparently, the
the
dagger
extra
makes all the difference
firepower.
here.
Yeah. But yeah, he could just play Drana here now, and then like next turn, Drana could just attack and get this Carfel Kennel Master back into play.
All right, yeah, it sure can. It's going to be a zombie vampire.
Are we gonna see the Smitten Sword Master deal Drain 2?
Well, why not?
I was thinking about it. No.
He wants to
Besides
give more
that,
value.
there's more value to be gotten between the Smitten Sword Master and the Zoth consumption. That's a lot of direct damage.
Yes, it is. And Jeremy's trying to depopulate here, um, which would actually draw him a card. He has a multicolored creature. So
I
if ever the board is getting out of hand, which it's about to when Drana attacks, he can make use of that. He's going to attack with Ariel here.
I think he might be forced to depopulate if he doesn't have an answer to Drana, because Drana will just be able to like get back everything that just jump blocks here and just it's gonna be
Yep.
impossible to attack through.
Yeah, and Drana's not like some of these other like reanimation creatures that sort of send the creature into exile after. Like, if the creature that it brings back dies, it can just bring it back again potentially.
Yeah, so now you can do is like you attack with Drana, you get your sword, you get your Carfel Kennel Master back. You can like probably just keep up the Maskwood Nexus activation, honestly. And now Ariel's not really allowed to attack because Carfel Kennel Master will come back as a 5/5.
Right, so
Oh, he wants an
he's gonna bring back the frog here. He just wants to keep blocking.
but doesn't the Kennel Master just
Oh
trade?
no, actually, the opponent chooses
Oh, the
which
opponent
one.
chooses.
Yeah, the opponent chooses a non-legendary. So Jeremy chose to give him back the lesser creature. So clearly, you would
Okay.
never, if it were your choice. Yes, I forgot that Jonna had the extra on top of all the other text of what it says. The opponent gets to choose a non-legendary creature in your graveyard to reanimate. So in this case, obviously, he chose the tutu rather than, or the frog rather than the larger creature.
Maskwood Nexus main phase tells me he's just gonna use the Sword Master now.
Yeah, so and then he's probably going to play the Swordmaster, which just this is going to be a good spot for a depopulate, I think.
I mean, the problem with the populate here is that like he Ryan still has a Maskwood Nexus that could just pump out tutus every turn. And like tutus might be small, but like when you get a tutu every turn for like free, basically, because your mana is not really tied up at the moment because you have so much of it.
So Jeremy's drawn a mythic here in Mavinda Student's Advocate, which is a little flyer here, 3 mana. I believe it's a 2/3 flyer, and you can cast like pump spells for free out of your graveyard, and other ones cost 8 more, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah. So it's useful when you have a lot of mana, but right now I can only really cast a Moment of Heroism.
Yeah, which is not the worst, but I think this is going to be the turn where he's going to depopulate. Especially since he didn't
Yeah,
deploy anything last turn, he was, he's building up to it. Yeah, so
could even
he's
just triple block Ariel if he wants to, but okay, looking to just trade.
okay.
Not take any damage. Completely
Even
fine.
gain a couple life here.
And then the depopulate will come and restart the board.
Yeah, it is gonna draw Jeremy a card, so that's always nice.
Yeah, Ryan's been flooding out a bit. Like he does have 8 lands to Jeremy's 5.
Yeah,
So he has drawn a bit more.
Jeremy does have a pretty solid game plan here. He has like 3 flyers in hand, so after this depopulate, he's just gonna reload with flying creatures and hope that that rides him to victory, and just I guess block the tutus as much as he can. Block
Yeah,
the
Saspa
changeling
Nexus is
tokens,
not
but
gonna.
I think these flyers are going to win faster than the Maskwood Nexus because he has 3 flyers
Yes.
in hand, and he has a Silver Quill Pledge Mage, which can also gain flying. And now he's drawn another flyer, Giada, Font of Hope. So he just has, 8 power worth of flying in his hand. 4 of which he can deploy next turn.
He's like, here's gonna unwilling ingredient. It's gonna draw another land here. Probably not what Ryan wants to see, but again, he still can make a 2/2. He drew a whack for the turn, so any creature that comes down can be just whacked.
Yeah, I guess Giada would be pretty good with a Maskwood Nexus. Come to think of it.
Ah, yes, you can. It's a mana. It becomes a mana dork and also makes everything come in with a counter.
And now another flyer off the top. So we're seeing why Jeremy is playing white. He's just playing every flyer that he has access to. Right, he has 5 flying creatures in hand. He drew Avon Sentry, which is just it's a 4 mana 3/2 flyer.
Okay.
Now we get 4 mana 3/3 flyers with multiple abilities, but times have
Hey,
changed.
back in Dominaria, 4 on a 3/2 flyer was quite decent.
Yeah, that's good, and it fills the role here. So he's clearly on the flying plan. This is how he plans on winning the game. He just
Okay,
needs
this is a
to stay alive because he is at a life disadvantage to his opponent.
this draw was actively really good. He has drawn Gate to the Afterlife.
Okay, that's fun.
So he
Um,
can start looting at worst, and once he gets 2 more creatures in the graveyard, he just gets a Godbrow's gift.
yeah,
And I think
Godfather's
it's
Gift
is it
is
5 or 6 or 7?
it's like a high number. I don't I don't recall the exact. I know you gain a life and you loot whenever your creatures die.
I think it activates its ability to loot. I think I'm not entirely sure. Haven't seen Gate to the Afterlife in quite a long time. Not
Yeah.
since it was just played in that standard deck, but
I know that whenever your creatures die, you can loot and gain a life. I know that for sure. And the other ability you activate at some point though.
oh, okay. Gate to the Afterlife deactivated ability to get Godbrow's gift, and it's just a trigger that loots.
Yeah, though he does have an even mind sensor in hand, which which can actually, I guess, shut off the search ability.
Oh, that's
Funnily
funny.
enough,
Okay. Ryan says that Giada, I don't want like a potential army of angels coming down, so she's gonna get whacked.
so Jeremy is looking and noting that there are 2 whacks there, which are premium removal. Yeah, so funny the even mind sensor will actually stop the search unless Bolas has hid his gift there in the top 4. Yes, so now we see the game plans being enacted here of just flying, flying, and more flying.
It might be hard because, like, as I said a while back, like Ryan still has a soft consumption. I mean, the 4 damage does matter because like these 2/2s will start doing damage, pecking down at his life total. But also gaining 4 life is huge because that gives you more time against these flyers.
Yeah, so he's gonna equip and play Mavinda. I'm not sure why he just didn't play another creature on top of the Mavinda. Like making that a 3/2
Oh,
doesn't change all that much.
so Mavinda could actually cast the Mode of Heroism will be very annoying.
Yeah. Well, it only casts it once. It's not over
Yeah,
and over, I don't believe. But yeah, I don't
but
know why he equipped rather than just play one of his other flyers. Like
I think
he,
I'm in Rangers. I'm kind of okay with this outcome. You know, like he just played 1 creature. You're gonna play 1 creature essentially, and you can even attack. You could do a suicide attack just to get a loot off the gate to the afterlife.
yeah, like he could have played a Easter Glider or a Silver Quill Pledge Mage here rather than equip. So interesting choice of what to do, but we'll see how he goes in future turns. Maybe
He's drawn Halo Scarab.
maybe I mean Mavinda has a gigantic paragraph of text. Maybe he thinks you still have to cast it. You still have to pay the mana, but you have to pay 8 more uh, if it doesn't target a creature you control. But if it does, I believe
Yeah,
you just cast them for free, right?
No, you still have to cast the card for its
Oh,
mana
okay,
cost.
okay, that makes sense. That makes sense then.
So
Yeah, it's
like
just weird because
it's yeah.
it says 0:, and you're like, wait, what?
Okay, so trying to get him dead.
Okay, so he
I
was
could get like
leaving
a
up
5 mana
the
or something.
trick then, which makes sense. Yeah. So now he's gonna keep leaving up the trick here. Play a sentry. Like this is this is a fast clock here with all the flyers. Very fast.
Though to be noted, if he plays Sentry and then he makes a token, that's 8 damage. If he doesn't block, he dies to just his off consumption.
Well, he can equip here. Okay, no, he's just gonna play the Easter Glider. All right, so he's just going to we'll see if he blocks. I imagine he would want to, but we'll
I
see.
think Jeremy's thinking he might just win on the crackback because he has 10 and he has also that mode of heroism for the last 2 points. But the problem here is that if he doesn't block, he's dead. So
Yeah, so
Acer
yeah,
Glider can't
he's not
block.
expecting 4 damage in hand from the black deck, right?
Yeah.
But that soft consumption is a very unique spell. Yeah, he's going to take it, and then he's going to be consumed for the last 4 points of damage here. Just like a card you can't really expect. So like really, usually black doesn't have access to dealing this much direct damage. So yeah, we see the race. The race was won here by Ryan thanks to his Maskwood Nexus, and just took a little too long to assemble that flying army there. And we see Ryan getting the win here in the feature match. So congratulations to him, and we'll see everybody next week.